You know, sitting here watching the sun stretch across these old floorboards, I realize I've seen 97 winters come and go. I've watched the world change in ways my parents could never have imagined. I've seen the horse-drawn carriages turn into automobiles and letters turn into screens. I've seen faces come, and sadly, I've seen many fade away. But the greatest tragedy I've witnessed in all my years isn't the passing of time itself. It's the quiet, terrifying theft of a person's very essence. The dread that creeps in slowly as the years pile up. It's the fear of losing yourself, isn't it? Of looking in the mirror one morning and seeing a complete stranger staring back at you simply because your own mind has become a foreign land, a map with all the familiar roads washed out. I remember my dear friend Harold. We were boys together. We used to build wooden radios in his father's shed, sharp as tacks, the both of us. He was a master storyteller, a man who could paint a vivid picture with just a few words. Then, one day, we were sitting right here on my porch, and he looked at me and called me by his older brother's name. A small slip, I thought at the time. Just a momentary lapse of a tired mind. Then came another and another. He forgot how to tie his favorite fishing knot, a knot he had tied 10,000 times before. He forgot the name of the street he had lived on for 40 years. Until the man who could recall every single mischievous detail of our youth started to look at his own children with a blank, empty stare. It was a slow, agonizing erosion, like a beautiful, complex sandcastle being relentlessly washed away by the evening tide, grain by agonizing grain. I watched as my oldest friend became a shadow of himself, trapped in a thick gray fog that he couldn't push through. The thought of losing my own story, of my mind slipping through my fingers like water, it was a terror I couldn't bear to face. I promised myself then and there that I would fight. I would not go quietly into that fog. People often stop me in the street, or my younger relatives will sit across from me at the dinner table and say, "Elias, your mind is so sharp at 97. You remember every date, every name. You are so incredibly lucky." But let me tell you a secret today, a truth I've held on to for decades. It's not luck. Not at all. It's something you can find right now, sitting quietly in your own kitchen. We are constantly told by the world that it's just getting old, that our minds are destined to inevitably fade, that losing our precious memories is just the heavy toll we pay for a long life. But what if the mind doesn't just spontaneously erase itself? What if it rusts, slowly, silently, like an old, neglected farm machine left out in the cold rain? Imagine your mind as the most intricate, beautiful clockwork ever created by nature. Each memory, each face you love, each lesson you've learned is a tiny, perfect gold gear. For that magnificent clock to keep perfect time, those gears need to be pristine, clean, and well-oiled. But look at how we live today. With modern, empty food, artificial ingredients in bright packages, and the constant buzzing stress of this fast-paced world, we are essentially opening the window and letting the dirt and dust settle right onto those delicate gears. We're allowing the rust to build up layer by silent layer. First, it's just a misplaced set of house keys. Then, a familiar name slips your grasp right in the middle of a sentence. You walk into a room and stand there, completely forgetting why you went in. We laugh it off. We call it a senior moment, but each forgotten detail, each second of confusion, is a tiny speck of rust forming on those precious gears. And if you let it spread, if you ignore it, the machine eventually seizes up. But I am living a proof that it does not have to be that way for you. I spent years looking for an answer. I read, I observed, and I watched what worked for the sharpest, oldest folks I knew in my community. And my first discovery is something so simple, so common, you might already have a bag of them sitting in your pantry right now. Walnuts. I want you to look at them closely the next time you hold one in the palm of your hand. Isn't it remarkable how nature leaves us little clues? This humble little nut, when its hard shell is cracked open, reveals what looks exactly like a miniature human brain. The two delicate hemispheres, the intricate folds. It's not just a coincidence of nature. This is the pure golden oil for the gears of your mind. These aren't just a tasty snack to put in a bowl during the holidays. They provide a smooth, silky lubrication that keeps your deepest thoughts flowing without a single hitch. Think of an old, heavy wooden door hinge. Without the right kind of oil, it squeaks, it resists, and eventually it refuses to open at all. Your mind's pathways are exactly the same. Without the right, natural nourishment, they get sticky. Thoughts don't connect the way they used to. The words you desperately want to say get trapped on the tip of your tongue. I made a solemn promise to myself to eat a small, deliberate handful of these walnuts every single day of my life. Not roasted in heavy salt, not covered in artificial sugar, just raw, pure walnuts. And I noticed the profound clarity it brought over time. It was like a gentle hand had taken a fine oil can and meticulously, carefully greased every single gear in my head. The mental rust simply couldn't get a foothold. My thoughts didn't just move, they glided. But oiling the gears is only the first step in the battle. If walnuts are the essential oil, then what comes next is the shield, the impenetrable armor for your most vulnerable memories. Blueberries, my tiny, sweet protectors. Imagine your most precious memories for a moment. Your wedding day, the warm smell of your mother's kitchen on a Sunday morning, the very first time you held your newborn child in your arms. These memories are fragile, aren't they? They are like old vintage photographs that can easily fade, turn yellow, and curl at the edges if they are exposed to too much harsh light and time. These blueberries form an invisible, powerful protective barrier around those mental snapshots. They wrap around the delicate cells of your brain, keeping the images vivid, keeping the colors sharp, and preventing them from blurring into the gray, unforgiving mists of time. When you eat them, you aren't just having a sweet treat. You are sending tiny, dedicated shields to guard the most important vault you possess, the story of your life. I put them in my morning bowl of oatmeal, or sometimes I just sit in this very chair and eat them by the handful. And I've seen the remarkable difference it makes. The way details from 60, 70, even 80 years ago still come back to me with such brilliant, stunning clarity. They keep the past alive and vibrant. And finally, there is the herb of the past, the great Awakener, rosemary. This isn't just a pretty green sprig to make your Sunday roast smell inviting, just the deep, earthy scent of it. It's like a gentle, familiar tap on the shoulder of your deeply forgotten memories. My grandmother used to keep a large wild bush of it by the back door of her farmhouse. This plant is a broom that sweeps away the thick mental cobwebs we all accumulate. It's a gentle, persistent alarm clock for your sleeping mind. There are days when the weather is heavy and I feel a little sluggish, a little slow to recall a fact or a face. I don't reach for another cup of strong coffee or a pill. I go straight to the garden or my kitchen spice rack. I take a fresh sprig, crush the green leaves between my fingers, bring my hands close to my face, and take a deep, long breath. And it's like a heavy painted window suddenly opening in a dark, stuffy room. The fresh air rushes in. The mental fog lifts almost immediately. The thoughts become crisp and sharp again. The past and the present connect perfectly, seamlessly. It's a gift from the earth to keep us rooted in who we are. 97 years. 97 years of living, of loving, of grieving, and of remembering. The greatest wealth I possess today isn't locked in a bank vault or written in a will. It is the profound ability to look into the bright, curious eyes of each of my 12 great-grandchildren and call them by their names without a fraction of a second of hesitation. It is the ability to sit them on my knee and tell them the exact day they were born, and to share the rich stories of the ancestors who came before them. That is what true unshakable independence looks like. It's not just about being able to walk without a cane or drive a car. It's about keeping your story entirely intact. It's about owning your own mind until your very last breath on this earth. Do not wait until the rust starts to show its ugly colors. Do not wait until the fog gets too thick to see your loved ones through. The protection of your mind, the preservation of your entire history starts right now, right there in your own kitchen, with the golden oil of walnuts, the protective shield of blueberries, and the awakening scent of rosemary. Take control of your aging. Refuse to fade away. Keep your beautiful story alive. Take control of your aging. Refuse to disappear. Keep your beautiful story alive. And if you want to discover more of this centuries-old wisdom, if you want to learn how to live a truly limitless and fearless life, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, Limitless Aging. Click the subscribe button right now. There's so much more I want to share with you. Many other simple and powerful truths that can change the rest of your life. I'll be here in this chair, waiting for you.